questions and real faith. This is Faith Unfiltered with your hosts, Mike and Michelle. Faith Unfiltered.
Welcome back to Faith Unfiltered, where we talk about faith honestly, clearly, and without pressure. Today, Mike and I are diving into the heart of the Catholic faith, the Eucharist. Mike, I'm glad we are doing this together, and I'm so happy that you are here. Can you help us?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here too. Everyone relax, just to take the pressure off you. I promise today, no Latin quizzes, so no one has to ask for any auxilium.
I feel like everybody's blood pressure just lowered a little bit here. Okay, now that everybody's blood pressure has lowered and we have relaxed a little, let's try to dig into this a little bit. All right, when Catholics say the Eucharist, what are we saying and what is happening?
So when we talk about the Eucharist, we believe that Jesus Christ is truly present, body, blood, soul, and divinity, just under the appearance of bread and wine.
Okay, so it's not a symbolic language. So when someone says that it's just a symbol, Catholics would respectfully say no?
Respectfully is a good way to put it. They would say no, it's not symbolic, it is true presence, much more than a symbol.
Well, as we know, Christians can have different viewpoints, and that's why we're here today to go over some of this. And this is where some confusion can creep in because Christians don't always believe the same thing about communion. Can you go walk us through and help us maybe understand that differences?
Happy to. So there are varying viewpoints. Some of them widely vary, but let's concentrate on the top few. First of all, many Christians hold a memorial view. They view communion as a remembrance of Jesus' sacrifice. So Jesus died for all of us, and they remember that in their communion. But that's all they're doing. There isn't any true presence, there isn't any spiritual presence, there isn't any increase in grace. It's just remembrance of his sacrifice. Other Christians do believe in a spiritual presence. There's a spiritual presence in the bread and wine, and some of them don't actually use wine, but I'm going to drift off topic if I get into that. So spiritual presence, they can have an increase in grace by having communion, but there is not any body and blood. Others teach a form that is often referred to as sacramental union. Now, this does affirm Christ's presence in the bread and wine. Oftentimes the teachings differ slightly from what Catholics view. You may want to take a deep dive later, but just leave it at that for now.
So Christians can agree that communion does matter, but they may disagree on what exactly is happening.
There you go. That's a good way to put it.
All right. This brings us to the word that tends to stop conversations, and that is transubstantiation. Say it with us. This is simpler than it sounds. Mike, can you break this down for us plainly?
Happy to. And remember, while I promised no quizzes, I didn't promise there would be any Latin at all. So transubstantiation, a Latin word. Let's break it in half. Transform, change. We're changing something into something else. Substantiation, from the Latin word substantia. I know, all my good little Latin students just wrote that down. Thank you. So we are transforming the substance. Now, everything that we deal with, when we interact with something, we use our five senses. All of these things that we interact with, we can break down into two aspects of it. There's the substance and there's the accidents. The substance is what it actually and truly is. The accidents is how we perceive it. We perceive the accidents with our five senses. So, while in communion, transubstantiation, bread and wine become body, blood, soul, and divinity, but to our senses it is exactly the same. The bread still smells like bread. The wine still tastes like wine. But the substance, what it actually and truly is, has in fact changed. Transubstantiation.
All right.
Easy when you break it down.
Okay. So accident doesn't mean mistake.
No.
It means appearance.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, let's get on the biblical foundation side here. People often ask, where is this in the Bible?
Fair question. We see in the Last Supper, Jesus says, "This is my body. This is my blood." He commands his apostles to do this in remembrance of him. You may have heard that last Sunday.
I did.
All right. And then in John chapter 6, Jesus speaks so directly about eating his flesh and drinking his blood, that many of his followers choose to walk away.
So that tells us right there that they didn't see it as just a metaphor.
Exactly.
All right. Mike, thank you so much for walking us through this today.
Thank you. Glad to be here. And hey, next time, no promises about the quiz.
All right. Thanks for joining us at Faith Unfiltered today, where questions are always welcome here. And we'll keep having these conversations. And until next time, may God bless you.
God bless.
Real conversations, real faith. Until next time, thank you for joining us.